Hi, this is Victoria Wolders, your My Kids Locker COVID-19 Ed podcast host. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's hard to believe that we've done 86 episodes, and we're starting to wrap up our podcast. But who knows? We'll see where the My Kids Locker will go, because we never know if there's another podcast that will eventually pop up in the next months, years, or in the future sometime. Well, I hope that you enjoy one of these last empathy tales. It was called Mckenna, Aebrie, and the Whispering Chalice. It was created for my friend Chelsea and her daughters. And I hope that you enjoy this awesome story about some beautiful fairies. We are now going to move on to our wonderful part 1, a mindful moment of listening.
To part 1. Are you comfy? Are you cozy? Well, get ready to listen.
Part 1. Well, today we are going to share a quote from Mother Teresa. Kind words are short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Think about the last time somebody shared with you a kind word. Maybe it was a thank you. Maybe it was a please. Maybe it was a compliment, saying how beautiful you are. Take some time today to share a kind word with someone you know and uplift them, because, as Mother Teresa says, kind words are short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. Okay, I hope that you enjoy this next part.
Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 today. We are going to create something amazing, and let's get crafty. Bye.
Well, welcome to part 2. A great opportunity for us to be able to listen to the story and do an activity. So, this challenge is an interesting one. I want you to listen to the story, and after you're done listening to the story, write your own story. Create your own story. You've been listening to these empathy tales and the COVID-19 Ed podcast episodes, so why don't you create your own story? That's a challenge. Okay, well, without further ado, we are going to now share Makena, Aebrie, and the Whispering Chalice. Enjoy. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the land of the Oak and Eagle Kingdom, there lived 2 beautiful young fairies in the land of the Eastern Eagle, in the magical forest. One fairy was named Mckenna, and she had wings that looked like monarch butterflies. They had beautiful yellow and green and purple, and when she walked in the light, they shimmered, and everyone was in awe of her beautiful wings. Her sister, who was also a fairy, because both of them were fairies, she had beautiful white translucent wings, gorgeous white, and when she walked in the sunlight, they shimmered like silver. And so when the 2 sisters would walk through the fairy village, often people would stand in awe of the beauty of their wings. Well, they lived in the magical forest, and nearby their cottage, there was the land of the Eastern Eagle wizard. And the wizard was known to have many wonderful things. He would do potions and magic, and he would have mystical creatures visit his cottage. And they often were quite amazed at the different things, unique things that were going on with the wizard. Well, one thing they often would see is the Whistling Chalice. The Whistling Chalice was very beautiful. This chalice looked like a goblet, and it had beautiful emeralds and rubies and diamonds and opals. And they would often see this whispering chalice edge of the porch of where the cottage is. And their mother had told them that the legend of the Whispering Chalice was that if a single tear was to drop into the chalice, that when they tried to pour out the tear, the water, that what would form would be a creek or a stream, and then into a river. And the river would flow into a beautiful, magical river that would flow up and down, and there would be waterfalls that would flow backwards. And often what would happen would be that if the Whispering Chalice was able to be used, that this water would sometimes rescue people if they were caught in a situation where they needed to float above something. So this Whispering Chalice was one of the land of the Eastern Eagle wizard's treasured possessions. And often these fairies, sisters, would listen to it whispering, and it would whisper like as if it was whispering to the leaves and the trees. And it would often say beautiful things like, "The sun is shining, it is so beautiful, be grateful for all the good things." And the chalice was very happy in the possession of the wizard. Well, one day, Mckenna and Aebrie were about to go to the village. They found that they didn't hear the Whispering Chalice anymore, and they wondered why. Well, when they got to the village, rumor had it that the Whispering Chalice had been taken, and they did not know who had taken it, but it had been stolen from the wizard, and the wizard was looking for it. And they all saw signs in the village that said, "Missing Whispering Chalice, reward." Well, as the weeks went on, the chalice was never found, and soon they realized that the Whispering Chalice was something that was just lost. Well, as the seasons changed, so did the weather, and the leaves started to change color, and it was no longer summer. And one day, Makena and Aebrie were walking along the road, and they bumped into the Water Troll King. The Water Troll King saw their beautiful, beautiful wings, and he said, "You both have magical, glistening wings. I would love you to come visit our tunnels below, and maybe, just maybe, if your wings touch the sides of our caverns, possibly they would rub against the diamonds and the opals and the emeralds and rubies, and they would let them glisten just like your wings glisten in the light." Well, the girls, the fairies were very, very kind. They were very, very helpful. And they said, "Well, it will come down for a while. If it's going to help your water trolls, we will definitely come and help you for a bit. The only thing we're concerned about is our wings are quite big, and we do not want to get them damaged. If we rub them very gently against your caverns and caves, then perhaps your emeralds and rubies and opals and diamonds will glisten, and then we'll need to come back up." Well, the Water Troll King, he thought to himself, if this is true, then maybe it would be better for me to keep them down there forever. But he didn't share that with the two fairies. He led them very gently through the autumn leaves to the entrance to the Water Troll Kingdom. And they went down, down, down. At first the tunnels were fine. The wings were big enough to be able to host their wings, and they just gently touched the cavern. And as they did that, yes, it did happen. The rubies, the emeralds, the opals, and the diamonds started sparkling more. The Water Troll King was delighted. He knew that he could be able to gain more wealth by them just gently touching their wings to the sides of their caves. Other water trolls watched as the caverns glistened even more, and they were able to pick away at the different jewels and gems and put them in their pockets to gain more wealth. Well, as Anna and Aebrie said to the Water Troll King, "We need to leave. The sun will be setting soon. We need to go home to sleep." But the Water Troll King, he wanted more. So he said to them, "I'm sorry, but we're going to keep you down here. We need you more than they need you up there." He said, "I'm going to put you in a dungeon and you will be kept there. I will feed you, but I need you to be here with me so we can get as many diamonds and opals and rubies and emeralds by you rubbing your wings." They said, "Oh, but we want to go back." They said, "Well, you can't." And he grabbed them and threw them in a dungeon. He said, "Here is a torch. This is the only thing I'm giving you right now." And so as they had a torch, they lit it, and they could see all the different trinkets and metal things that the water trolls had captured from upstairs, up in the Oak and Eagle Kingdom. Because often the water trolls would often go up to the upper land, and they would take different metal things and metal things and tools that were left and abandoned, and old things like sacks, and they would often reuse them. And the water trolls would be able to reuse them for different things. And there was a big pile of different things. So as they went in deeper to the dungeon, they realized that there were so many piles of things that were just abandoned. They were upset, and their wings were damaged by now. They weren't glistening as much as they were before. The torch was burning, and all of a sudden, they heard something whispering. They heard, "Be grateful for what you have. Be kind for what you have." Mckenna stopped. She looked at Aebrie and said, "I think that's the Whispering Chalice. Quickly, we've got to find it. We've got to find it." So they began to dig through all the metal and all the different things that were left abandoned in the dungeon. And under a whole bunch of different things, they found the beautiful chalice. It had emeralds and rubies and opals and diamonds, and they heard it singing. It said, "Be grateful for the goodness. Be happy for the sunshine. Be happy for friends and family." And they took it in their hands and they said, "Let's see if Mother was right." And they began to cry, and tears dropped into the chalice. And as tears dropped into the chalice, Aebrie took it and she began to pour the tears out. But not only did it pour the tears, it started to pour a creek, a stream. Soon it became a river, and the girls started to get higher and higher. The pressure of the water broke through the door of the dungeon, and they floated above the water, and they said, "Water, guide us to our entrance." And the water began to sing, and they were holding the chalice in their hands, and the water started to go up and up because it was magical water, and it lifted them all the way up to the from the Water Troll Kingdom to the Oak and Eagle Kingdom. And as they were doing that, the emeralds and rubies and opals and diamonds that were on the walls of the cavern started to fall. And they could see them floating in the river. The river was glistening. It was magical. And as the river was touching their wings, it was a healing water as well. and their wings began to sparkle like beautiful monarch butterfly, and sparkle like translucent white. And they were raised all the way up to the Oak and Eagle Kingdom, lifted by the magical waters. And the magical waters began to flow through the magical forest, and flowed all the way through the land of the Eastern Eagle, down into the Western Eagle. And they called this beautiful river, because it kept on flowing, the Whispering Chalice River. And the girls were rescued by the Whispering Chalice, and they soon were washed the side of the river with the chalice in their hand. They walked gently to the wizard, and they gave the wizard his chalice back, and the wizard was very kind. He said, "Thank you so much, and as a reward, I will bless your wings even more, and your fairy wings. You will be able to go to the river right now and put your hands in the river, and you will collect your rubies and emeralds and opals and diamonds, and you will be able to use that to help your family." And so they did, and they were able to grab all these beautiful gems and jewels, and they were happy, and they lived happily ever after. The end.
Hi everyone, it's time to innovate, part 3. Woo.
Part 3. Well, I hope you enjoyed my story today, Mckenna, Aebrie, and the Whispering Chalice. Now, it's your opportunity to make an extension. Do your draft, and do a good copy, and then type it out, and publish the book online. I challenge you. Take your story, and create it, and make it out there into the world. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope that you'll join us tomorrow as we start to wrap up our COVID-19 Ed podcast. Okay, have an awesome day, and hopefully I will see you in the next My Kids Locker COVID-19 podcast episode. See you soon.